it's rough out there. AI is crushing things. AI is taking everyone's job, or it's creating new jobs. And there's tariffs or not tariffs. The economy is great or it's terrible. We're going to be taxed like crazy or not. Who knows? Like, it is one of the weirdest times ever. So marketers are having a hard time being like, yes, let's go do something new and crazy. And as marketing agencies, that's sort of where we live. We want people to do something new. We want them to try stuff that they have not tried before. We want them to invest in that new channel or change that approach. That's our job, right? And so they're having a hard time moving forward. So they're thinking like, you know what? I'm going to stay put for right now. Or you might find that they're saying, yeah, we definitely want to work with you, but let's think about that as a late Q3 thing, okay? Or, yeah, this is exactly what we want and need, but we don't have the budget for it. And so you can attack all of those things with smaller projects, upfront offers, and all that sort of stuff. But the other reason why they are not trust anybody for years, people were selling solutions that didn't work. You know, they were selling the solutions to the last battle. And so as an industry, marketing agencies, and I don't like, especially marketing agencies that started in like the last 3 or 4 years, have had a pretty bad track record, not because they're not good agencies. That's not true. It's just because things have changed so dramatically that their strategies that they grew up doing, that they've said like, "Ooh, this is how we work and this is how we think about the world," all of that's been rendered cuckoo. Like, none of that stuff is working anymore. So there's a lot of mistrust out there. On top of that, every agency says the same thing. They say, we are data driven, we're an extension of your team. You know, we are focused on return on ad spend, blah, 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 blah. Like, none of that shit matters, because all of that shit is stuff that everyone else is saying. And so how do you stand out in a sea of sameness? This reminds me of back in the days when I used to do SEO a million years ago. We'd sit down with a really big company and they would say stuff like, we want best practices. Everything has got to be best practices. And I would tell them, hey, best practices are cool, but best practices make you just like everybody else. Why don't we do the best practices for you? That had mixed results, honestly, because people thought that there was just a way to do things. But because you are marketing agencies, I want you to really think about this idea, because this idea that I'm about to share with you will do two things. One is it will get you attention, and attention is the currency that you spend in order to make a sale, by the way. Two, it's going to remove the fear, because you're going to be speaking something that is right for your prospect. Here's what I want. I want you to go find your one weird thing. And what do I mean by that? What is your cool thing that sort of defines who you are? Now, let me tell you a couple stories. So I've got this client where they have built this beautiful visualization that shows basically where your ads were spent across what categories and products. They work with e-com folks. With categories and products, the money was spent against versus what, the actual throughput of products. And so they might find you spent 22% of your budget on category X, but that was only 16% of your sales. Is that a problem? I don't know. Does that make them a better agency? I don't know. Probably. I mean, they think it does. That's how they built their thinking. So yeah, it probably does. But for a certain portion of the audience, they hear that and they're like, whew, wow, yeah, like that makes sense to us. So as soon as they understand that weird thing that this agency does, they're all ears. Like they want to learn more because this thing that you're talking about matters to them. Now, does it matter to performance? Who knows? Actually, that's kind of irrelevant because what you're doing is you're putting out a message that really vibes with a particular prospect. I have another client. They do complex development for very large companies, complex website developments, Adobe DXP and Magnolia and Sitecore and all those sort of very large, complicated CMS projects. Most of the folks in their industries are integrators. You've got your plan, you've got your technology sets. They say, okay, this is what we want to do. We're moving from here to here. Here's how big our site is. And the integrator comes back and says, cool. We put it into our little calculator and that's going to be 10,000 hours, blah, blah, blah. It's going to take this long. This agency does something completely different. They say, we don't care. We don't care where you're going from, where you're coming from or going to. We don't care if you're rebranding, whatever. We start with three things. We start with three customer moments that matter. And we identify those three moments and we think about them in three ways. Is the design right? Is the user experience right? And is the data right? And they call those the brilliant basics. You get those three moments that are the essence of your customer experience. Like you might have 1,000 different kinds of customer experiences, but there's three that are more important. And they say, you know what? We don't care about all of that other stuff you're talking about. What we care about is understanding what those three moments are, what we need to do to fix them and make them perfect. Everything from there on out makes sense. There's no chance we're going to not create a great project because we understand these basics so well that every other experience has those as reference points. Every other thing that you do has to fit with those three core moments that help their clients decide, is this a good experience or not? So this is a really crucial difference because other integrators are coming to them saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, we put into our calculus it's going to be 10,000 hours. Like it's going to take this long. Here's the giant proposal. And the statement of work is 47 miles long. These people say, hey, listen, we're not going to get to a big giant statement of work because the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do this brilliant basics exercise. And they charge for it because it's really good and it's very thorough and it really gives some insight and allows this agency to really show their technical and design chops. But it's a much smaller thing. It might be $25,000 instead of $200,000. But when they're done with it, the clients cannot wait to move forward because they're so excited about what else can be done because they now understand so much about their customers and their data and their design and how that all works together. They understand it in a way that's different than they ever have before. So this is their weird thing. We don't care about the big giant scope. We care about these three moments. We're going to fix them so they're perfect. Then we'll figure out everything else. And then jumping back into my own experience, I was the interim VP of e-commerce for a $200 million furniture chain. And we were trying to hire an agency. And we interviewed a bunch of agencies. And this one agency said, cool. So yeah, we have flat fee pricing for everything, but we can't even decide whether or not we're going to work with you until we do this customer research. Like we can't really tell if you've got something that we can maximize until we do this customer research. We're gonna interview a bunch of customers. We're gonna see what happens in a store. We're gonna secret shop you, and we're gonna do all this stuff. So then we can think like, okay, yeah, we know that there is untapped opportunity in certain media channels, or there's a new media mix that will make a big bunch of sense. But they didn't even quote the rest of the opportunity except in very broad numbers. And there's were big numbers. There were 250 to 500,000 bucks a year in fees to them. Cool. If you're gonna get 250 in fees from us, you can waive the fee for the research. And they said, no, we don't do that. The research is everything. After the research, it's all just execution. We get paid for execution, of course, but we learn what we need to execute during the research. So if you are not willing to pay that, if you're not willing to go through this process with us, we don't want to work with you. And I was like, what? Like, you're going to give up maybe 500K in billings over 25 grand? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. That's the way it is. And when I realized that they were serious, they were going to walk away from 500 grand in fees, I thought, this is different. They didn't try to like squeeze me in. They didn't try to do anything. They were just like, yeah, this is the way we work. This is our weird thing. We do this customer research and we're not willing to move forward without it at all. We signed the contract as soon as I understood that. As soon as I tried to negotiate with them and I saw that they were ready to walk away, bam, these guys, like, this weird thing that they do resonates with me. This weird thing is worth so much more than $25,000. What I want you to do is, I don't want you to worry about right now about the way you're pricing things or your delivery or your onboarding. I want you to go find what's your fucking weird thing. What is your weird thing that people are like, oh my goodness, like, I've never heard that before. That makes me pay attention, because you cannot land more business without people paying attention to you. And cold email is awesome and works, but it is very, very crowded. Content is awesome and it works, but it too is very, very noisy. And so at every turn, your prospects are having someone yell at them, hey, come work with us, come work with us, come work with us. So that's what the entire market sounds like to them. Just people wanting things from them. I want you to do something different. I want you to find your one weird thing that doesn't make any sense. I want you to find your one weird thing that makes people go, what? Huh? Say that again a little more slowly, because I don't think I got it the first time. Like, you're going to walk away from 500 grand in billings over a research project? Or you're not going to send me a giant end-to-end, want to think about three things? Or you're going to base everything that we do around how much we're spending versus what categories get bought? Oh, wow. So go find your weird thing, because it's the only thing that will make anyone pay attention to you. Because we're an extension of your team. We're data driven. We're focused on ROI. Everybody says that and nobody cares. So find the weird thing. Do it right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop thinking about, well, how do I de-risk this or whatever. Find your weird thing so people pay attention. Thanks.